Yo, welcome back to the Triple Crown podcast. And this is a season preview of the college football season, man. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know who y'all think might take it all this year and also win the Heisman Trophy. But my guy, Rush, let's go ahead and get this started, man. I like your sweatshirt, man.
For sure, for sure. So we're gonna get this thing kickstarted real quick, starting off with the AP top 25 poll. And to round it off, we're gonna start with Iowa at 25, 24, Tulane, 23, Texas A&M, 22, Ole Miss, 21, North Carolina, 20, Oklahoma, 19, Wisconsin, 18, Oregon State, 17, TCU, 16, Kansas State, 15, Oregon, 14, Utah, 13, Notre Dame, 12, Tennessee, 11, Texas, 10, Washington, 9, Clemson, 8, Florida State, 7, Penn State, 6, USC, 5, LSU, 4, Alabama, 3, the Ohio State Suckeyes, 2, the University of Michigan, and then 1, the defending champs, the Georgia Bulldogs. So how you feel about this list, man? Who would you add or subtract from it?
What I think about this list, man, no complaints about it, man. I think it looked good. I have even Tulane down there, number 24. I'm cool with it. I don't know too much about Tulane. With them being in the top 25, they had something good is coming to this year. So no complaints. I'm cool with it.
Okay. I think if I had to nitpick on this list, man, I could nitpick with a bunch of teams. Um, to kind of start it off from the very ending at Tulane, I'll probably throw South Carolina in there. I think Spencer Rattler, I think he's going to have a pretty good year. USC last year, they had a bunch of upsets against Tennessee. So I'll definitely throw the Gamecocks in there in that top 24, top 25, excuse me. Also, UCLA, man, I know they lost their starting quarterback who got drafted by Cleveland, but I think Dante Moore is going to come in and step in and be a great quarterback for them. And Chip Kelly is running that offense, so I think they're going to be solid as well. Um, let's see, if I had to nitpick some more, I'll probably push back Texas. They still have a lot to prove to me on the defensive end.
I knew it.
Yeah, they still got a lot to prove to me on the defensive end, man. Sarkisian is a genius on the offensive side of football, but defensively, they just been giving up way too many points. And then also, I would put Penn State above USC for the same reason, kind of for Texas, man. USC, man, they just don't get it done in the trenches, man. I don't trust them. I trust Penn State's D line and cornerbacks. They have one of the best secondaries in the country with Kalen King this year. And then I'll probably put Clemson up there as well. I think Clemson taking over TCU's offensive coordinator. I think Clemson is the team to beat in the ACC right now, even though people believe that Florida State is that team. I just won't bet against Dabo and TCU's former offensive coordinator, man. They're going to be killing it this year.
See, honestly, man, like I'm gonna rip that a little bit because I see your point about Texas. They really haven't proved it yet. Like, okay, cool, but what's coming into this year? The son of Cooper Manning. They riding high on the Manning train right now, yo. There's even reports out there saying that he might end up starting. But don't sleep. I feel like don't sleep on Texas, though. I feel like they could probably sneak out that Big 12, man. But
Sure, they can. That's theirs to lose, honestly.
I mean, right,
But will
boom.
they do it? It's been like that the last couple of years too. Will they do it?
Hey,
I
TCU was
just
a
don't trust
surprise
Sark.
team. TCU was a surprise team last year. Like Max
Definitely
Duggan,
was.
they did their thing. Like, but I disagree with your take about Clemson and USC. I really feel like USC is going to have a great year this year. A potential number one pick with Caleb Williams out there. So I really feel like they lost it against Utah in the Pac-12. championship, but I do feel like they're going to come back and handle business as they should have last year.
I just say that line of scrimmage, man. They don't win the line of scrimmage. Utah beat them up on the line, man, and that's most important. They're a finesse team. They don't get down and dirty and gritty. And to me, that's the biggest piece of that's really missing. And that those elite teams in college football that they have, Georgia get gritty with you, man. Their line of scrimmage play is amazing. But yeah,
Yes.
looking at this, who you think is a little overrated and who would you say is underrated?
I in the top 25 overrated.
Or just leading into the season. It may not have to be on this top 25 list, but just leading into the season, who do you think is overrated and who you think is underrated? And I want you guys to comment below as well who you think guys think is overrated and underrated.
Honestly, I like what I'm seeing in Colorado, but I do feel like they're an overrated team. I know a lot of people, not a lot of people, some people do have Colorado even being like a 500 team, a couple wins above, but I just don't see them making that big of a jump. Prove me wrong, please do. I want to see you succeed, Prime, but I just don't think like that first year coming in. I just don't think they'll get it done as what people expect until they go into the Big 12. I mean, look at Jackson State first year. I think when he came through, they had a good year, but it wasn't what he finished up with. You know what I mean? Some of those boys still gonna have some development to do playing in the Pac-12. But yeah, and I would probably say what I do like for me is Texas. I'm cool with Texas. Like I was surprised for them to be that high in the rankings, but yeah, I'm Longhorns, ride out.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So, what about yourself, though, man? What's your who's your surprise? Overrated, underrated, overrated. Who you got?
So for my overrated teams, I have USC
Mm.
is one, um, Florida State is another, Texas is another, and Notre Dame. Those are my and North Carolina. Those are my overrated teams. Um, for USC, I kind of already mentioned it. Line of scrimmage, they lost their best receiver in Jordan Addison. They do have a good recruiting class coming in with some talented pieces, but I just don't think they win the line of scrimmage. Their defensive line was not the greatest last year. So was their offensive line, and you saw it in those games, those close games. I mean, they were just getting a pass rush. It was like they weren't even blocking for Caleb Williams, man. It was a free rush to him. He had to make magic plays happen all the time. Florida State, while I would have them overrated, I just don't think they're the team to beat in the ACC, man. I give it the nod to Clemson for what I mentioned earlier. I just think Dabo, their D line was amazing last year. I think Dabo is just going to find a way to win the ACC. They had a down year last year, and they only had lost 3 games. So I think Clemson's going to be the team to beat there. Texas, they haven't shown it to me on the defensive end. As good as Sark is with that offense, I just don't trust them. I think Quinn Ewers and Xavier Worthy are going to be amazing, but they just lost Bijan Robinson too, which was literally the best back in college football last year, right there with Blake Corum and Frank Gore Jr. right up there with both of those. Chase Brown as well. So I just don't think you're gonna replace Bijan like that, which was a key element to their team. Notre Dame, man. I mean, a team that lost to Marshall and struggled throughout the year. I just they have quarterback issues. Their quarterback transferred out, so I don't see where Notre Dame is just going to be an elite team or even top 13 for most of the year, even despite their schedule. I just can't see that happen. And then North Carolina, man, North Carolina, Drake May is going to be good. Their running back, I forgot his name, but he was a 4-star recruit 2 years ago out of Virginia. And I think he's going to be good for them. Of course, they got the receivers, but that defense, man, that defense has historically just given up points. Matt Brown is a hell of a coach, of course, but that defense, man, just give up way too many points. I can't go against it. And then go ahead.
I about to say that game against Appalachian State last year, crazy game, yo.
How
60
many
points
points they
at
give up?
60 points, I think.
Crazy.
Like
Way too many points, bro.
too much, too much.
Yeah. So I don't think their defense can hold up to their offense. For my underrated teams, I think Iowa definitely, um, Kansas State, Clemson for sure, and Penn State. I would say are my underrated teams. Even though Penn State is ranked seventh, I think they should be ranked higher. I think they should be right after Alabama. Right, they should move up to USC. But I think those teams I mentioned, man, especially Iowa. Iowa has the best defense. Kirk Ferentz, man, what he does with that cover four scheme and
Mhm.
cover six, I mean, he's brilliant, brilliant. And they're elite on defense every year. And now you add Cade McNamara to that mix, and I think they finally got a solid quarterback enough to propel them over the top in the Big Ten West. Also, I'll throw in there Illinois, who's not a ranked team. I think Illinois on defense, they were a top five defense last year. If they can get it together on offense this year, I think they'll be a solid middle of the pack team.
Let me ask you this then. So, what you think about Oklahoma? As I'm looking at Oklahoma. They was first year coach last year. Where you got them ranked by the end of the year, or how you think about Oklahoma? What you think?
I think Oklahoma has a talent, right? I think this is Brent Venables' year to show what he's got. Honestly, I think he's going to be on the hot seat if he doesn't perform this year. First year, he was coming. I think he was the defensive coordinator for Clemson beforehand, before he took the job last year. So we'll see, man. I think they're appropriately ranked for the talent that they have, but I think that we'll all see when it comes to playing on the field.
Yeah, that's facts though. Yeah, I'm not sold on Oklahoma. I just don't see it happening for them this year. I can see them being right where they are by the end of the season.
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah.
Which is fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any Heisman? Who do you have winning Heisman?
Oh, I mean, honestly, I two. I have two picks or two finalists. Let me say between Blake Corum and Caleb Williams. That's what I have. But
Okay.
of course, it's a QB award in a sense sometimes. So I can see Caleb Williams if they can succeed. If not, I already know Michigan will succeed, and Blake Corum, since he was that guy last year, he's going to be that guy this year.
Okay. I won't go on the Blake kick. I just think that Michigan's running back room is too deep, and given the fact that he had an injury last year, I don't think they're really going to ride him as much as they did this year. Plus, I think the offense will be a little bit more dynamic with JJ. But I'll pick Jaden Daniels from LSU or Caleb Williams. And then I'll throw in a sleeper pick of JJ McCarthy. I think it's definitely going to a quarterback. But I think Jaden Davis is a mobile quarterback. And I think because USC won it last year, well, not USC, Caleb Williams won it last year. I don't see him going back to back Heisman. And plus, I think LSU is a more complete team. So I think they'll actually be in the hunt of a winning team for most of the season as opposed to USC. I just don't see them being, I think they're going to be a good team throughout, but I think later on in the season, they're going to run into some trouble.
Okay. Okay. So lastly, college playoff. Who's your top 14?
Okay, Georgia,
Yeah.
of course, Michigan, um, Ohio State, and Clemson.
Mm.
So if I had to rank it, it'd be Georgia one, Michigan two, Clemson three, and then Ohio State four. Um, I could see. Here's my sleeper pick. I think Penn State's gonna pop OSU this year.
Okay.
I think Penn State's gonna pop OSU this year. but that would mean that Ohio State would have 2 losses with Michigan and Ohio State, so with Michigan and Penn State. So that if Penn State doesn't pop them this year, they'll be at 4. If not, I'll throw in LSU.
Okay.
So my pick right now is Georgia, Michigan, Clemson, OSU with a slight twist of LSU because I think Penn State's gonna pop OSU this year.
Okay, yeah. So my final four: Georgia, Michigan, USC, and Alabama. That's who I have. And like I said, I feel like
Alabama
Caleb.
being a 4.
Yeah, Alabama being a four. I don't think. I think this year it's only one team coming out the Big Ten. I don't think Ohio State is that stronger of a team, and I feel like it's going to come down to Michigan. If they are undefeated, whoever wins is going to go. Whoever loses is not going to go because I feel like the SEC is too strong this year. They got, I would say, 3 teams right now, even in the top 5 right now. I can see that by the end of the year, even no matter what. Um, but so I don't have Ohio State making. I have our Wolverines beating them this year, but yeah, nah, nah. But USC, they're going to have a good year because of Caleb Williams, so that's why I expect from them. With that being said, I don't see them. Even if they lose one game or they go undefeated, they're going to make it this year. I think TCU was just that anomaly last year that negated them for getting there.
Okay. I think TSU the TSU this year will be Clemson. I think Clemson's getting in.
But Clemson, I would say Clemson has more of a strong will have a stronger resume
They have a tougher schedule
than a TCU.
than
So
you
I can agree with that.
and USC. They have a tougher schedule. So yeah, I can't go with Bama just because Bama has QB issues right now. And it's not like Bama of old when they haven't had the greatest QB play, but they have solid running backs. That offense is a huge question mark right now. I mean, the receivers aren't well known. They're not like even when they had Bryce Young last year, the receivers were still a letdown. They weren't creating separation like the receivers of old. I don't see that particularly changing, and they don't have a run game, a running back that can really take on the run game like they had of old with the Derrick Henrys and the Mark Ingrams and stuff like that as well. So I think that offense is a question mark right now. But that defense is going to be solid. Nick Saban gonna have that defense right. But yeah, man, who you got winning championship?
That how you spell as a team again? I'm kind of illiterate. Like, I can't read sometimes. Michigan.
That's crazy. That man can read. That man can read.
Michigan all day, man. Like I ain't gonna hold you. I let myself down last year. Just Jim Harbaugh, man. He just made me mad sometimes. But yeah, I can't. Last year they proved it, and yeah, this year they're going back. They're going back to the college playoff, and they're going to beat whoever they're playing, and we will see Georgia in the final. As it should have been last year.
I agree. I think that's this. If any year is a year, this is the year to do it. Best O line in the country, one of the best secondaries in the country, best running back room in the country. JJ seems to be taking the steps in the right direction. I mean, we deep, man. Pause. We a deep team, bro. Very deep team. I mean, linebacker, O line, D line. I mean, every position group that we have is 3, 4 players deep. We have a really good rotation. Chris Jenkins, man, on the deep. Mozzie, well, not Mozzie, he left. Mason Graham, Jalen Harrell, Brady McGregor. I mean, the team is deep, bro. That line is deep. Um, and so, yeah, I think they're going to be a really talented team. The biggest test is going to be Georgia for them. I think every other team they're going to dominate in the trenches. And yeah, I do see them having potential matchup problems. If we were to play a team like Florida State, I think they would give us a matchup problem. just because their receivers are so tall on the outside. And then with Jordan Travis. But if we don't play them, I like our chances against most teams. I really do.
Bet, bet,
Yeah,
bet. But yeah, man, like let's ride out, man. Go Big Blue, bro. All day, every day, my
for
guy.
sure.
Like
For sure.
don't. Hey, look, it's this little red sweatshirt. I'm just wearing for the day, man. But that man, what he was wearing right now, hey, don't forget about it, man. Don't forget
That
about it.
man is being disrespectful wearing red during this episode, but we ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't
It's
gonna
a lot
talk
of
about
red
that.
teams
But
out there, man. It's all right.
that's crazy. That's crazy. I don't even know. I haven't wore red in years. But anyway, this is the Triple Crown podcast, man. Doing a college football season preview and us covering the AP Top 25 poll. Make sure you guys comment who y'all guys got as y'all overrated, y'all underrated teams, who y'all got for Heisman, who y'all got in the college football playoff, and who y'all got winning it all. I know y'all gonna kill us for saying Michigan. I know we got a lot of SEC fans out there. I like the SEC too, but I just think it's Michigan's year, honestly, and I think the SEC will win it next year. Michigan will lose too much after this year, but yeah, man, this is a Triple Crown podcast. Go blue, and we are out.